Welcome, everybody, to the HHWShow podcast presented by Clovercrest Media. Visit HHWShow.com for our latest podcast, rumors, predictions, and everything about professional wrestling. As you look at the screen, we're going to be talking about the results of the Money in the Bank, leading on to what could possibly happen in Summerslam. So, without a doubt, let's take a look. We're going to start off with the ladders match. We have Liv Morgan winning the women's Money in the Bank ladders match, and it only took her about 2 hours afterwards as she went ahead and cashed in on the winner of this match, Ronda Rousey and Natalya, and no other than Ronda Rousey retaining the SmackDown Women's Championship, but she was not at 100% towards the end as she was suffering pain on her legs due to the sharpshooter and everything else, because she went through hell against Natalya, especially the last month, as these two feuded and definitely lived up to the hype. But it was Liv Morgan who actually stole the show real quick and cashed in the Money in the Bank briefcase to win the SmackDown Women's Championship. Moving on to the Raw Women's side, you have Bianca Belair retaining the title, but Mella had the last laugh as she attacked Bianca Belair from behind and walked away. So this tells me that in SummerSlam we could possibly see Mella versus Bianca Belair part 2, or should Rhea Ripley be cleared to wrestle, we could possibly also see a triple threat match. So anything goes, but we should see moving on forward, as SummerSlam is on July 30th. The United States Championship did change hands here as Bobby Lashley applied the Hurt Lock on Theory and made him tap out. In the Tag Team Championship, the Usos were victorious, but with some controversy. Montez Ford's shoulders were not completely on the mat for the 3 count, and as you can see, the referee was out of position to see that happening, and the Usos took advantage of it. But they should have never been in this situation, because when Montez Ford executed his signature move with that big frog splash, Dawkins, he wasn't even around. And what I mean by that is his duty was to block Jey Uso from getting that 3 count, right? To interfere getting that 3. And instead, he watched him, and then he tried to roll away from the ring, right? He was half body was underneath the ropes, and it allowed Jey Uso to stop the 3 count, and there you have it. And then the match continued, and the Usos did what they usually do, and they won. So even though the controversy was that Montez Ford's shoulder wasn't on the mat, that should have never happened. The Street Profits had this, and they should have won. But I'm looking at that picture of Dawkins with his surprised look. It looks like that surprise was happening like every match. And for the Street Profits, they lost the last 15 out of 16 championship matches. And I'm telling you right now, I'm speculating that these two may split up, and as soon as after SummerSlam. That's my prediction, because I just don't see them together if they do not capture the tag team titles by SummerSlam. More to follow on Tuesday's podcast with Hector and Frank. Moving on to the ladders match, the men's ladder match, there were 7, but the stakes were risen, right? It was risen to where Theory, somehow, I don't know how this happened, but you got to blame that on Vince McMahon. He got that push, and that push paid off, because he is the Money in the Bank winner. And you can see it right there. He is taking a selfie and everything else. But while that was happening, Happy Corbin went and attacked Pat McAfee. So you got a lot of things happening towards the end, and it is what it is, because for Corbin, he just had enough of McAfee just talking smack about him. So I can see that frustration, but that will lead to a SummerSlam match, which was made official. But after the Money in the Bank, you had the McMahon family. That's right, Vince McMahon, Stephanie, Triple H, joining in with Pat McAfee. So you can see that cast around his neck. And they were enjoying the main event of UFC. So, everything was happening in Vegas this weekend. And, hey, it was an awesome weekend. Honestly, it was definitely awesome. But SummerSlam is now the next premium event, and SummerSlam will take place on July 30th. This is the main event, Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. And like I said before, Pat McAfee and Happy Corbin, it was made official. They will have a match. But there are other matches that I am going to predict that's going to happen real quick. And I've already talked about it. And let me go through my notes to let you know exactly, because I don't want to miss nothing here. Okay? But I do predict that the Street Profits and the Usos will definitely have another match. Okay? Seth Rollins versus Riddle. During the ladder match, Riddle did execute the RKO on top of the ladder on Seth Rollins. Expect Seth Rollins to sneak attack Riddle on Monday Night Raw. Bobby Lashley will defend the U.S. title. I mean, it's happened in the past 2 premiums, so why would they stop, right? Unless Lashley decides to defend it every single Monday Night Raw. We'll see what happens there. Judgment Day versus Mysterios. I could see that happen. Or should Edge return, especially at SummerSlam, Edge returns and then he'll face off against Finn Balor. Bianca Belair versus Carmella and Rhea Ripley. Should Rhea Ripley be cleared to wrestle, I could see that being a triple threat match. Liv Morgan, could she defend her title? I hope so. But there's one particular superstar that I wish that she could go first, and that will be Shotzi. I believe Shotzi should get that chance, because she wrestled very well against Ronda Rousey. Could she be the number 1 contender? I could see it. Or I could also see maybe Natalya putting her foot in the door again, making up an excuse about how she damaged Ronda Rousey, allowing Morgan to cash in. And now she wants a piece of the pie. Who knows? But anything can happen there. But I'm going to also make a bold prediction right now. And maybe the WWE will have a set match for the Women's Tag Team Championship. Could Lacey Evans and Raquel become an official tag team and chase that title? And then who will be their opponent? I'm looking at all kinds of ways here, and I'm hoping that the women's division will definitely step up, rise up to the occasion, and let's see those tag team championships. Or you could kiss it goodbye. Either or. This is SummerSlam, which is probably the second best premium other than, underneath WrestleMania. So we have an awesome Money in the Bank premium. I expect SummerSlam to be even greater. So tune in to the HHWShow podcast every Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to focus more on what had happened in Money in the Bank, a lot of opinions on it, plus other predictions that I may have not covered for SummerSlam. And finally, the semifinals for the fantasy tournament of who is the greatest superstar in SummerSlam. We got that and much, much more. So please tune in to the Hard Hitting Wrestling Show. Happy 4th of July, America.